You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I am Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
I am Ethan Euchre.
Yes, you are.
Indeed.
And we have our senior fellow, distinguished man, Jeff Wagstaff.
Oh, that sounds good.
It does sound good. I just want to sit here and absorb a little of this.
Soak it in there.
What an introduction.
He's part of our
How
think tank.
about me now?
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon of the esteemed Bonati Spine Institute, our upper senior fellow,
The seniorest of
Oh,
fellows.
the very senior fella.
Alfred Bonati, MD.
I just was demoted.
I was totally upgraded.
So does that make me the junior fellow?
Oh, he's the seniorest of fellows.
Seniorist of fellows. Yes, we have an exciting show lined up, but before we get to that, when you think spine surgery, that's something you never want to rush into. I mean, let's be real.
Depends how much pain you have.
But when you've tried those conservative methods, and it's true, you don't just jump into surgery just because you have an onset of pain. But when that pain doesn't dull, and you have tried all those conservative methods to no avail, that's when you try to seek out true pain resolution. And you know, I'm online and I see these ads by what I like to call imitators. And they talk about, hey, we performed this and we reintroduced plates and screws and wires. I call that confusing patients. It's a way of confusing them to thinking that is their only alternative. And you know what? It is the con that it is. You don't need fusions. I don't care if they call it minimally invasive. Because you have a small cut. When you start putting screws and plates that mingle and tangle your nerves, there's nothing minimally invasive about it. And that's why the Bonati spine procedures are targeted precision procedures that are patented and exclusive to the Bonati Spine Institute. Don't let anyone else fool you. No one else provides that sort of patient relief. 98.75% patient-reported success.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
With that said, we have an exciting
Very
show.
religious, this group.
We have somebody on that's going to be talking about an update in cancer research. We're going to be talking about how diseases are coming across the borders because this administration allows anyone and everyone in, doesn't properly vet. And then you're going to hear what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient
Boy,
of the
you
Bonati
really,
Spine
do you
Institute
breathe?
who went from living a life that was
fired up.
restricted
Yes,
by
she is.
pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
I do get fired up because we have Margie Kuhn on the phone. She is a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute, has been through the procedures, and I do get riled up because I see the good that this company does, and I see so many people that have been mangled by other facilities. So, Margie, thank you for joining us on the program.
Oh, you're welcome, Kimberly. It's a pleasure to talk to all of you.
Aw, well, why don't you tell us how your pain occurred? Because it happened quite a few decades ago.
Yes, we moved to Florida in 1985.
Okay.
I got my first job in 1986, and I got injured at work in 1988 after 2.5 years. I picked up a 175-pound beer keg with a coworker. That was our job.
Okay.
Whoa.
And yeah,
I couldn't
and
even do that. Yeah.
They didn't have back braces back then.
Sure.
And so I didn't feel any pain once we got the beer keg hooked up in the front. But I go home next night, shower, get up the next morning for work, and I could not move. I was so scared. I called my mother first, and then I called 911.
Yeah.
I've got memory loss from all the medications that I've been on in the past.
Wow.
But I saw a neurologist, and he recommended me to Jack Maniscalco in Tampa.
Sure.
I had open back surgery in 1989, a year after the injury.
Okay.
And he put me in the 80% that I'd be better. But unfortunately, and he felt so bad that I fell in the 20%.
Right.
So then he gets me together with pain management,
Okay.
and I've been going to him for maybe 22, 24 years,
Sure.
and he did epidurals, trigger shots. I got a TENS unit and pain medications.
Sure.
And towards the my first surgery at Bonati was 2014.
Okay.
So what I did was, because I didn't know where else to go, I opened up the phone book because
Okay.
I see the commercial on TV all the time.
Sure.
So I said, let me give it a shot. Can't lose anything. So I opened up the phone book. I called them, and whoever answered said to me, I say, do you accept workers' comp? And they said yes. And I said, thank you, God. So that's how I got in touch with Dr. Bonati.
So you make it to the Bonati Spine Institute. You're in the evaluation. What is that like for you? Did they have an inkling where the true root cause of your pain was?
Oh, yes. It was phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. My back was so messed up when I had Dr. Grossmith then. But now he moved to Las Vegas for the other institute. And where he showed me...
The other Bonati Institute.
We're opening in August. Yes.
Yes. Oh, hi, Dr. Bonati.
So let me just interrupt you for a second. The pain that you were in, can you just quickly describe that? Where on the body was it?
Oh, the lower lumbar.
Okay.
All
And
levels.
was it localized or did it shoot to other extremities?
Oh, it shot straight down my leg,
Okay.
on my buttocks and my hips, and the whole back section.
Okay.
Plus, I also had cervical damage. I've
Sure.
got cervical spurs,
Okay.
but they said they wouldn't. That back then they wouldn't operate till my neck started bothering
Okay.
me. Sometimes it does, but mainly it doesn't. It's mainly my back.
Sure. Okay. And so, okay, let's put you back in the Bonati Spine Institute. You're hearing where your problem stemmed from. What did you think about the conscious IV sedation?
I've never ever heard of anything like that before. That was so interesting.
Did
And
you
I
watch?
remember my first surgery because I cried when I came out. You know, going into recovery, I said,
Okay.
the pain is gone. And when the surgeon talks to you, is this, I said, yes, and then no, and then yes, that's it. And miracles happen.
Now I have to say, because you suffered for over 20 years in
28
pain.
years.
And
June 7th was 28 years.
so you were being told that you had to deal with pain management, which doesn't get to the true root cause of the pain and resolve it. Here you are, you come in, your surgery, and your pain is resolved. And you're interactive during the procedure. Did you watch?
Oh, yes.
What did you think about that?
I was, and that's interesting to me. And I says, "Oh my gosh, look at me, my back."
Marjorie, so many patients who come to the Bonati Spine Institute come after failed back surgery somewhere else. So I'm kind of curious, when you had your traditional back surgery, even though it didn't relieve your pain, how long did it take you to recuperate from that surgery?
I was laid up, I think, on bed rest for a year. I
Now,
had nurses come in to bathe me. It was no picnic.
now after you had the Bonati spine procedure, what was your recovery time after that procedure?
I would say a half hour. A month. I mean, it's like you're on another planet. I mean,
But a nice planet.
So you'd almost have to be on another planet to go anywhere besides Bonati if you're going to have your back work done.
but I understand Dr. Sidholm.
Yeah, we are Martians.
No. What were you saying, Margie?
I understand from talking to some doctors down at Bonati that Dr. Sidholm had sent some patients down there, and I felt I says, what am I, chopped liver?
Right. So you were there for decades.
Yeah.
And you didn't even think
Refer
once
you.
that, gee, maybe this was an option for you. So
No, and to go to my daughter's graduation, I had to go in a wheelchair from high school.
right.
Wow.
My daughter graduated with Kimberly.
I think she was a year or two behind me, but yes, from the
Yes.
same high school.
Oh,
Yes.
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 Where's
Karen.
that wheelchair now?
I have no idea.
In the dumpster.
Good, where it belongs.
Exactly.
Good.
Well, see,
I was using a rollator. Then in to food shop, I would have to use the electric cart. I couldn't walk. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't give me assistance around the house.
right.
You know, so I do everything that I can.
Aw. And
And Wednesday I had my 8th surgery at the Bernardi Spine Institute, and I will have more done.
okay.
And I have to say something, Kimberly.
Sure.
You said patience. The first thing I noticed in 2014, I showed my mom, and I said, Mom, look at this. They don't call you a patient down there. They call you a surgical guest, which I thought was so moving and touching. It's like family down there for me.
Yep.
I know I'm going to feel good when I leave. And after each surgery, I have.
So I need to modify because I call you patience.
Yeah, well,
You need to update your
calls-
lingo, Doc. Surgical
in general,
guests.
but when he meets
Hey,
them, they're all known by their names.
Hey, Joanne, every time when I hear you talking, you look like 12, you sound like 12 years old.
I know everybody tells me that. I almost lost a job over it back in the 70s.
I don't think you sound like a child. I just think you sound amazingly
Adorable.
youthful.
Mark, you should see the look on Uncle Bernardi's face. He's so proud.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I tried to get a hold of you, Dr. Bernardi, yesterday, but you were running up the stairs and
In his
Emery
clogs.
said you had to go.
Why didn't you just call me?
See you. Huh?
Why just didn't call me?
Just
I did call you. I
Oh,
just wanted to give you a hug because everybody was in surgery yesterday.
But see,
Next time.
this is the way the Bernardi Spine Institute treats their patients. They are like family, and
Yeah.
when we all get to know each other, we love to hear the updates. So thank you so much for joining us on the program. We truly appreciate it. Continued good health.
Oh, you're welcome, Kimberly, and thank you so much, and God bless all of you.
Have a good one,
Bless you
Margie.
too.
Thank you for joining us.
For
Thank
giving
you.
me back my life.
thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
If
Bye-bye.
any of you listening or watching the stream are suffering just like Margie did, you don't need to. Reach out to Bernardi at Bernardi.com or call 855-267-0483. Coming up after the break, we're going to hear about some interesting cancer research. Make sure you stay tuned. We'll see you on the flip side of the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bernardi created, perfected, and patented the Bernardi spine procedures. Using his genius, Bernardi invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bernardi spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bernardi succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
And also happy to be here is Jeff Wagstaff.
I'm absolutely ecstatic to be here.
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute.
I'm not so happy. I'm hungry.
You can eat after this interview.
Yeah, because we're going to talk cancer research. Joining us right now is Dr. Matthew Godovan, a biology professor at the University of Texas at San Antonio, where he has developed a newly patented non-invasive method to kill cancer cells. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Godovan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, this is interesting.
It is.
This sounds fantastic.
Did you see this, Doc? It's actually, I saw a video that Kimberly had sent me, and it's pretty amazing research.
Astounding.
Yeah, you actually inject a chemical called, and I have to look at it because it's called nitrobenzaldehyde.
Nitrobenzaldehyde.
Yep. Tell us all about it. You put it in a tumor, shine a light on it, go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say I've been here 20 years at UT San Antonio, and was trained as a neurobiologist and was trying to find a way to make cells acidic on just the inside of the cell. I was not a cancer biologist. I may still not be, but nitrobenzaldehyde will enter cells. You can inject it into an area, and it'll pass through the cell membrane and kind of get trapped in there. And then when you shine a certain wavelength of light onto that compound, so in a tumor, the nitrobenzaldehyde creates a highly acidic environment inside those cells. And so developing a rapid, very targeted focal intracellular acidosis overwhelms all cells. And we first killed non-cancerous cells, so the mechanism of death that these cells undergo is a cell suicide called apoptosis. And so we're able to just initiate that and trigger that in a really straightforward, simple way.
I have a question for you, though. I always heard cancer cells thrive in an acidic environment.
Yeah.
What the cancer cells do, so we want to look at the inside of the cancer and the extracellular environment. What the cancer cells do is they actually make a slightly acidic environment outside their tumor.
Okay.
Right?
So it's like a shield?
What it does is the extracellular acidity activates some compounds that will make blood vessels grow towards the tumor to remove this acid. And so the aggressive nature of it is then the tumors latch onto those blood vessels. So there are some known treatments that block the promotion of growth of blood vessels because that's what these tumors are doing. They're very sneaky. So they'll create an acidic extracellular environment knowing that they're going to manipulate the vasculature to grow there in a sort of a honest attempt to remove the acid. And then the tumor latches on and it gets all these extra nutrients.
Wow.
The inside of the tumors are actually slightly alkaline because they're giving their acid to the outside space. But intracellular acidosis has been achieved with some chemotherapeutics, and so the mechanisms and the pathways are fairly known. And I was trying to figure out if there was any other application to my research, and started reading some of the cancer journals that said there are currently no ways to cause a focal acidosis inside a cancer cell, and if someone could figure that out, it could be a big event.
And how long did it take you to come up with that idea to inject straight into the cancer cells?
Everything that we do first occurs, in a petri dish. And so we've killed 2 forms of breast cancer, including triple-negative breast cancer.
Which is a very aggressive form, right? That's very hard to treat.
Very, very poor prognosis because of the lack of surface receptors.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell your audience that today, in about 30 minutes, we're going to take our first attempt at killing a pancreatic cancer cell line. So I have a team of about 18 students. These are all graduate and undergraduate students at UT San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
They all have courses. Some of them have other jobs. I try to support them in the lab with, lab positions, but they work around the clock, literally.
What I love about what you developed is the fact that you're not killing good cells. You're only attacking the bad cells.
And it's non-invasive now,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I mean, the most invasive nature is sticking somebody with a needle.
Mm-hmm.
We had great success when we, it's very difficult to get something in a petri dish that works to work in an animal model.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge failure right there for lots of reasons. So we gave mice triple-negative breast cancer tumors
Mm-hmm.
on their mammary fat pad. They have like a little pectoralis muscle there. So we gave them human triple-negative breast cancer, and we waited till the tumors reached a certain size, about the size of a Tic Tac,
Mm-hmm.
and then we did our treatment. We gave one injection of the compound, followed by a fiber optic light that was pushed into the tumor while the mouse was anesthetized.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2.5 minutes of exposure to the light, and then we stopped and watched what happened. And in our experiment with just one treatment, we saw a reduction in the tumor growth and more than doubled the life expectancy and the lifespan of the animal.
Okay, and how long a time frame?
How long the treatment?
Yes.
We gave a treatment. The treatment was a one-time dose,
Mm-hmm.
and it was to demonstrate what we call proof of concept for our patent.
Okay.
There was some of the tumors shrank, some of them didn't grow.
Right.
The control animals, the tumors grew like crazy. It's like I said, you all said it was one of the most aggressive cancers that we know
Correct.
of. The one-time treatment reduced the growth rate for about 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And then the tumor started growing again.
Sure.
We've done multiple treatment experiments that we haven't finished yet, where we will give one of these treatments every 4 or 5 days,
Right.
and we don't see, in the few animals we've done, we don't see the tumors growing.
So you're telling me that this is going to probably replace chemotherapy or radiotherapy? That's your direction? That's what you're thinking?
Well, I think that what we may have developed is a treatment that could be an option for patients that can't have the standard of care. If you have a non-metastasized breast tumor, I would recommend a surgeon cut it out. You could shrink this tumor with this technique prior to a surgeon cutting it out. Sometimes if tumors are large, they'll do chemo or radiation to shrink it prior to resection. But
but you're obtaining the results that you are hoping with chemotherapy and radiotherapy, and then when you reduce the size of the tumor to a level that surgically can be removed, that's what they are also hoping with the other technique. But this one is practically something that you do in a matter of hours.
yeah, in the petri dish, we watch the cells die in about 2 hours. 95 to 100% of the cells.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
There's a layer of selectivity. The compound by itself, so we did these studies too, the compound by itself does nothing to harm the cancer cells. If it's just the compound, they grow, they thrive, their pH is the same. The light by itself, even though you hear UV light can cause damage, the low intensity and short duration of the UV light doesn't damage the DNA. So these two things by themselves do nothing. It's only in areas where, as you said, Kimberly, where they're combined, where you have a selectivity of the compound must be there.
Right.
So, for example, if a physician injected the compound into a tumor and some of it leaked out into a non-tumorous part
Nothing
of
happened.
the tissue, it'll happen. But just we're not going to shine the light there.
And well, what's great is you don't have the side effects that one would normally get from a chemo. You're not going to lose your hair. You're not going to have those negative effects that make somebody feel worse.
Now, why are you applying? Why are you applying the acidity only? Do you ever experiment with the alkaline?
No.
Because they say that alkaline will practically alkaline medium will remove the tumor, will control the tumor.
Yeah, I think that there's two approaches, and we were actually just asked to participate in a review journal for sort of this re-examining the look at pH in cancer biology.
All right.
So whether it's highly acidic or highly alkaline, and your listeners probably have heard of some of these alkalizing diets where folks will try to eat foods that make their pH a little higher and more alkaline.
Try to drink kombucha teas and different things like that,
right? It's difficult to show evidence of that stuff working because there's so many other factors that aren't controlled in sort of an anecdotal scenario. But we, for years prior to this, I was focused on studying acid challenges to brain stem cells and neurons, and so, and the patent that we submitted, that we had our first favorable review, I included 3 of my students, Brian O'Grady, who's at Vanderbilt, and Haley Hazlitt is at Dartmouth, and Elma Frias was a summer student. So I worked with 3 students, and we didn't sleep. We stayed here overnight. We were just so excited to see if this would work. And so it's all about causing an acidosis. Now, I can tell you that, the normal pH of a cell is about 7.5, and something like, sulfuric acid is down in very, very low numbers. We can make the cells so acidic that everything stops. So there's sort of a desirable amount of acidosis. You want to have it strong enough so the cell is overwhelmed, but not so strong that the cell doesn't know to commit the suicide.
Got it. Okay, so there's a fine line in that. Unfortunately, Dr. Matthew Godovan, we're almost out of time, but such an important subject. Thank you so much for your advancement against killing cancer.
Well, thank you for your interest. So we're very excited.
Yeah, we need to get you again because this information is unbelievable. We would like to know what happened with the experiment that you're doing today.
Absolutely.
And just quickly, do you have any idea, years, decades, that this will be okay for use on human trials?
I have. I've been meeting with different business leaders in San Antonio to accelerate. The first step is to do all the experiments to get FDA approval. So we're aware of those experiments.
Sure.
We know what we need to do to get the FDA approval. We're looking for some grants to fund that right now. So I've got the support of my university. And
if they need to get in touch with you, is there a phone number that they can call or an email?
My email is matthew.godovan, MATTHEW, .GDOVIN @UTSA.edu.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Dr. Matthew Godovan, biology professor at the University of Texas and San Antonio, where he developed a newly patented non-invasive method to kill cancer cells. Thank you very much for joining us on American Medicine Today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Doctor.
Make sure you stay tuned, because coming up after the break, you'll hear more.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
Our other friend, Jeff Wagstaff.
Thanks for having me, Kimberly.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonatti of the Bonatti Spine Institute. Now, he's excited because joining us right now is Donald Mazzella, veteran newsman and political commentator who has appeared on MSNBC and in the Wall Street Journal. He's on to discuss how infectious diseases are streaming across our borders and what needs to be done about it. So thank you for joining us, Donald.
Don, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I hear you very well. I'm not hearing the others as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here, Don.
Well, I really enjoy it. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, now this is a topic that Dr. Bonatti has talked about at length. So what are some of the diseases coming across the border, and where are they coming from?
Well, that's a good question. According to the NIH and other sources tell me, something as simple as measles, which we think is eradicated in most of the world. We're starting to see cases of that. We're also, surprisingly, I've been told recently, had outbreaks of smallpox, which, as you know, is eradicated for 99.9% of the people in the United States.
Right.
But those are the two that I'm told they're most concerned because they're communicable. Obviously, we've got the new virus,
Zika.
Interesting enough, they're discovering cases in Florida where the Zika virus was not transmitted by a mosquito or sexually, and they don't know how. But what they do know is it is in communities with a large number of immigrants from other parts of the country. The interesting thing about cross-border is that we're seeing a lot of migrants coming in from Cuba, of all places, which you know has suffered for years from various illnesses. We're seeing them coming from deeper in South America, and the diseases that they're bringing pose a really great threat. The NIH has set up, as you know, a special task force on this, trying to identify it. But it's a problem that's not going to go away until we find some way of making sure that every border crosser, whether legal or not, is properly identified, and we know that they're not carriers.
Yeah, so Don, do you think that there's any way to control this problem before it becomes an epidemic?
What is it? Eternal vigilance? So far, we've been darn lucky. We've had pockets of diseases show up because the migrants have moved on to Southern California, Texas, etc. But what's really interesting is we're starting to see cases show up in northern cities because migrants now are moving almost immediately northward out of the Texas southern part. And Minneapolis, for example, had a couple of cases. It's a worrisome topic. I'm glad Dr. Bonatti has been talking about it for years. it's kind of the silent negative to immigration, legal or not, and it's not going to go away unless we really put a lot of time and effort and money behind it. And right now, if you go to talk to the NIH, TSA, or anybody else, they'll all tell you there's not enough money to deal with this.
Donald, I'm curious, and I don't know the answer to this. What kind of screening is done among those legally immigrating to the country?
Well, if you recall, that they used to do it at places like Governor's Island. If someone exhibited a cough, tuberculosis, etc., they kept them in quarantine on Governor's Island, and that's what they're trying to do. My understanding at the border areas, there's a multi-million-dollar facility down in Texas, which is trying to isolate and identify. The interesting thing, and again, these are just numbers supplied to me, is they found that 1 out of every 10 detained immigrant, legal or otherwise, has some sort of illness that escapes. Don't forget, most of them do not have the vaccinations at an early age that we used to require of our children. There's that whole other issue of do you get vaccinated for measles, etc. I'm not going to address that, but it is a threat. And our children, as you probably know, because we have a whole generation now that has kind of slipped on inoculation, our children are more vulnerable than any time in the last 40 years.
Absolutely. Well, with the amount of people that they are immigrants to the country, the legal immigration brings around 500,000 people and around 80,000 refugees. But you know, the illegal immigrants are 700,000 people, and all these people are not vetted against infections, diseases, and problems. We have Zika virus that now it's affecting even in Florida, Texas, and then we have the HIV problems that there are around 1.2 million people infected, and some of those ones are now recognize the enormous amount of expenses that's going to cost to the nation to maintain some type of a cure for this, or track these people to be able to control the problem.
But the government isn't even seeing that as an issue.
They don't
longer.
care. Obama doesn't care. Obama is caring how many illegals or individuals that they need help to be able to be supported by the government, so they can have votes for the Democrats. That is what is the lack of patriotic behavior of the Democratic Party.
It's very difficult to see the light of day when your head's stuck in the sand.
But you need to see the enormous amount of the complications that we're going to have very soon with tuberculosis. It's 66% increase in comparison that we have on the years of the early 19s. A 62% increase on tuberculosis in the country. That thing was totally eradicated from the nation.
You're absolutely right, Doctor, and it's an additional drain on our medical resources. As you know, depending on the figure, between 7 and 11% of the American people take up 80% of the healthcare resources. And if you break it down further, as some scientists have, a lot of the illegal immigrants use emergency facilities, and in fact, there are a couple of cases where they've walked into emergency facilities and infected other people there who were at the time vulnerable because of the original condition that took them to the ER. It is a real problem. We have to balance, as you know, our feelings for helping people with our feelings that we've got to protect the other 300-odd million Americans. I have to tell you, my father was an illegal immigrant into this country, so I have a particular sympathy for why people want to come here.
Right.
And but at the same token, well, look at this woman who gave birth to the Zika baby. She contracted it in, I think, Guatemala, and she gave birth in America, and now the baby is the responsibility of the American medical establishment.
That's the way it goes.
You know, she hasn't contributed a single cent to it. Does not have health insurance. Yet we are going to be responsible.
True.
And it is something that it's part of the immigrant problem, and it's one that is not easy to solve.
I agree with you. Well, Donald, we're about out of time for the segment. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about this ongoing problem that we have with all these diseases coming across the border.
Yep, thanks, Don.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Glad to do it.
All right, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
I think Don was having trouble hearing us there. But anyway, problem that's going to persist for a long time.
Very long time.
Hopefully, Doc, in your opinion, Trump will get elected. He'll become president.
He'll build the wall.
He'll put that damn wall up there. Then we won't have to worry about these illegals coming across.
Well, absolutely.
That's what we're hoping for. All right.
Oh, well, if you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, you'll hear what's new. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff.
Howdy, howdy.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
Hi.
Now it's time to see what Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, President Obama, and the Democrats have simmering in Washington, D.C. Let's see what's cooking in Barack's crock.
Well, we know something stinks. Why don't you tell us what it is, Doc?
Well, really stinking every day worse. But it's only 5 more months now.
Obama and Obamacare?
Yeah, my God. Now, one thing that we need to remember is that we had promises that they were totally broken.
Yes.
This is the 6th year of Obamacare. And in these 6 years, we have a situation where the politicians in both sides, they never read the healthcare.
Sure.
And they crammed the healthcare to the population of the country. And today, we have a basic promises of Obamacare collapsing all over.
Sure.
And one of the things that really happened is you have your own doctor. It's a lie. You have your own insurance. It's another lie.
Right, that you can keep those things.
Yeah.
That was the biggest lie of the year. It should have been the biggest lie of the decade.
Yeah, that's supposed to be, with that lie only, supposed to be enough to impeach this man. But, you know, a
One
bunch
would
of
think.
cowards in the Congress, they never did anything.
They're too afraid of being called racist and bigoted.
Yeah, well, it's about time that thing starts to disappear.
Of course.
Now, the next thing is when they say that this, we will save $2,500 on the insurance
On the
if
premiums?
in the premiums. Well, let me tell you this. If you are an individual who makes $47,000 in a year and you're honest to buy Obamacare, your deductible per person is going to be $5,180. How are you going to be able to
Support that?
use that insurance?
You won't.
You have a piece of paper, but that piece of paper doesn't open you any guarantees that any doctor will see you.
But that's a deductible. Then you run into what you just said, where doctors probably will not even accept your insurance.
They don't.
And then you have out-of-pocket cost. So that $5,181 doesn't even include your out-of-pocket expense.
Yeah. And just wait, because that is going to increase in the 2017.
Yep.
And your deductible and your insurance is going to go around 60% the level. It's a lot easier to have a private insurance, and the private insurance is going to cost you probably 1/3 of what Obama is going to cost you.
At least.
To have that crappy insurance that not only is not going to help you, but there's not going to be a physician that is going to take it.
The one thing I think is interesting is that Obamacare has actually driven up the Medicaid participants.
Well, not only is doing that, what is really sad is 9 million people have insurance that they were paid by their employer.
Right.
Obama killed that situation by attacking the employers. So the employers walk out, did part-time jobs, and then remove the possibilities to have private insurance.
Right.
Those 9 million people were passed directly to Medicaid. Medicaid is an incredible bad insurance. Around very few doctors take Medicare, and if they do, are probably because the doctor is not very good. It's being reported that if you have an acute type of a problem and you go to emergency room and the person who is going to treat you is a Medicaid doctor, the possibility to die from that acute illnesses is around 95%. So can you imagine the risk?
Of course.
Kimberly, this morning, prior to us starting the show, I was sharing, actually talking to Dr. Bonatti. My mother-in-law came to stay. We're going out of town this weekend. She's going to take care of our animals. She was just diagnosed with a bone spur. So I said, I need your MRI, and I need to find out what kind of insurance. So when I talked to Dr. Bonatti about Medicare, and of course she has the supplement, and so many of our seniors are tricked, or as you would say, confused into buying this crap insurance. She has Medicare, she has the supplement. In her mind, she's protected. If she were to have spinal surgery, we looked at it today, Medicare would cover $700. Now, I truly don't know the cost of surgery today, but I'm not thinking you could...
I think it's a little bit more than $700.
I don't think you could get an operating room or an anesthesiologist or even a first-year intern.
You just call your plumber, and you're going to see that costs you more than $700 to fix your faucet.
Yeah,
right. Exactly. So how can
that is because all these promises of the Democrats are lies. All the lies. Medicare was created with a lie.
Yes.
And with underfunded type of insurance. It remained underfunded, and now is ready to create another problem. It is the fact that the Obama and Clinton have a proposal that they just presented in June, that they call the public proposal. Okay, it's the public motion to avoid competition.
Right, single taxpayer. Correct?
Single taxpayer.
Socialized
so
medicine.
they cannot handle the programs that they have, and they are trying to expand when they know very well that the people is going to be sick in the country. The countries that they allowed to be single payer problem in Europe. Look at the disaster in Canada. Look at the disaster in England. In Greece. And one of the sickest countries of the world is Spain, and it's because the single payer type of program.
And that's what they want to bring here. What a scam.
Unbelievable.
Artist.
Broken promises, for sure.
Completely. Well, that about wraps things up. Make sure you like us on Facebook and tweet at Dr. Bonatti using hashtag American Medicine Today. Check us out nationally on Bloomberg. Check your local listings on Saturdays. And we're on WFTS here in Tampa on ABC, as well as ABC KTNV in Las Vegas. Hi. Make sure you check us out. We'll see you next time. You're watching American Medicine Today and listening. Bye.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.